prior to the City match, you spoke about how you'd seen an appetite to fight and you'd had that international break as well. I think a lot of the fan reaction is that they couldn't see that fight in the performance last night. What do you have to say about that?
I can understand where they're coming from in the sense of I felt we worked really well towards the game. Also, the way we approached the game and before the game started in the dressing room, going out into the game, I saw a very good spirit. I think the first goal took a lot out of it. The early goal we conceded, I think any team, even being in a good momentum, conceding 2 goals away against City within the first half hour, I think is a tough one to take. Also when you're in a good momentum to bounce back from. I think the momentum where we're in with the games, the consecutive games and the lack of goals, I think the confidence is very fragile and the first goals influenced that a lot. On the other side, I have to say, after that, they picked themselves up and kept it at 2-0. I mean, if you break as a team away at City, you can also get done with 6 or 7 or 5 goals. That didn't happen. They didn't allow that. So I agree with it partially. On the other hand, we stood our ground as well.
7 defeats without a goal, and I think a lot of people will hone in on the second half because although you kept it to 2-0, there were 0 chances created. So how are you looking to address that between now and the end of the season, with the idea that you are going to need goals and you are going to need to end the season positively to take into next campaign wherever you're playing?
Yeah, I think there were some moments we could have done better in the second half to create chances. The final pass, for example, in the end of the game was a big moment for us to Facundo to play Jordan in for 1v1 with the keeper. I think that would have been a very big one. Some set pieces. We could have taken more opportunities, I think, in the second half. But the foundation was solid. We didn't concede any more chances, which was good. And we had our bits. It wasn't enough, but there were definitely bits. And I agree. We have to get up like we did today, and it's my responsibility to do my job as good as I can for the coming eight games. Further than that, I don't look. It's hard enough, in this situation to keep the spirits up, to stay together, to get results, because it's not going well. The results are bad, but I think we are a team. We stick together, and that's the main and most important. And if we do that, we have a chance on results.
There is a lot going on off the pitch as well. We had that announcement yesterday about the losses. So from a PSR point of view, first of all, do you think that's having any impact on the playing squad? Because was it a coincidence that was announced yesterday and you were playing yesterday and it felt like there wasn't as much fight as you were expecting to see?
Sorry, can you ask?
Do you think it's a coincidence that the PSR announcement that came out yesterday about the losses might be infiltrating the squad? It could have got mental in there.
Oh no. Well, I don't really see that relation. I think we are purely focused on, and that's all we have to do, and it's difficult enough to keep the spirits up and keep our performances up in the phase where we're in. I don't think it was a distraction.
And on that, I know that you've spoken about looking just 3 games ahead, but you've also spoken about being in charge for pre-season in the summer. There could be serious implications from the announcement yesterday, deductions, potentially transfer embargoes. Are you having to think about that with your selection and the way that you're training this squad between now and the end of the season for forward planning?
Of course, it's important to the financial situation of the club is of influence of future strategies. And of course, it's important the short term to get the team going and change the momentum, change the results, which requires a lot of hard work from the whole team. And on the other side, over the coming months, will be clear in the total package of the financial bit and where you're going to play next season. On the future plans.
Final one from me ahead of Newcastle Monday Night Football on Sky Sports. Just wondering what difference you think the fans will see in a performance against Newcastle, and looking at your squad, you have Ricardo Pereira who's come back and he looked like he made quite an impact when he did come on. Is that where you're looking to see some difference on Monday night?
Yeah, he had a great 20 minutes, Ricardo. Of course, with the injuries that he has, we're careful with him. He had the hamstring injury after he was back already, so he missed the game because of that. The United game. Now he's back after 2 days only training with the first team. So, Monday is soon, but he's definitely somebody that we're very happy with, that he's available and can make an impact Monday. But as a starter, it's quite early.
Hi, Ruud. What do you think of Newcastle? What do you think about their strengths? What are going to be the biggest things that you need to stop in the game on Monday?
A lot. Now it's clear the momentum that they're in. First silverware since
70 years domestic trophy.
How long?
70.
70. So can imagine what milestone the manager and his staff and the squad achieved, and how proud they made the fans, and that they're part of history of Newcastle United. That is obviously something that it's a tremendous boost in confidence, in belief. Beating Brentford on top of that, competing to be in Europe, in Champions League spaces. So with the qualities they have, the fitness of the squad, it's a very clear squad in the profiles of players. Very, very physical, strong, quick, physical side with technical abilities on top. So it's difficult to mention one, but of course, if you look at Isaac and the form that he's in, as well, he's among the best in his position.
For you personally, obviously this is an extremely difficult run for everyone, for the club, for the fans. But have you known a period like this in your career before, where you don't know where the next goal, the next point is coming from?
No, it's the first time. Thank God. It's something where I feel that I want to go through this with this team, with the squad, with the staff. Stay together, stay connected with them, fight ourselves through this as people, stick together, and give energy every day to get ourselves out of this. Yeah. So for me, it's not something where I feel I want to run away from. I want to be part of this, and I want to fight for this with the squad, and that's every day. So that's also leading into Monday's game. It's another opportunity for us, and can only hope for some support in our own stadium on Monday.
How do you work out what to do, considering you've never been through this before? How do you know what the right path forward is, even?
I think you never know what the right path forward is, whether you've been in the situation or not. I think how do you say it? To say what the future will bring, nobody knows. You're making the right decisions in this moment. What will be best with people around you who can give their opinions on how they see it, and then you move forward with the team, and that's how you make decisions. It's our jobs. It's easy to to look after the game and make conclusions. We have to make them before it, and stand by them and evaluate, and that's what the process is, and what we will be doing.
Early on in your career, we were talking before. Were you relegated with Den Bosch as a player, as a teenager?
Can't be relegated in the Dutch Championship.
But you were bottom of the Championship in that season.
Because it's a closed league, you can't be relegated. So,
Okay.
so we have 2 professional leagues, and you can't go down. So that was that was an advantage.
Yeah, but that season, that experience, you were very young, obviously, and it's a long time ago now. But do you have any sort of memories of that you can use now, or how people dealt with that run that the club was in at that moment?
I think in general, and I said this before, when you're playing in Den Bosch in a poor season in the Championship, or you're not successful with Man United or Real Madrid or PSV, where you're expected to win every game, it's similar. You know, so in the end, what it's about is it's not going well. How do you react from it? What are you going to do the next day? How are you going to be better the next day? Starting with you, and then within the collective, and then you experienced some of the strongest leaders and managers that I've been able to work with, how they handle these things, and that is my inspiration. That is my the things that I've taken from my career.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll finish the section with Owen.
Hi, Ruud, good to see you. You've mentioned the lack of goals in your side at the moment. We talked about it last night as well.
Yeah.
What are the tangible things that you can tell us without revealing too many of your secrets about the way in which you are working, the things in which you're trying and change that around?
Yeah, of course. I think scoring goals and is of course you have to create chances, and to create chances you have to do certain situations in the game very well, like your possession, your progression into the final third, and from there the movement in the box and the quality of the final pass and the crosses, and after that you look at the finishing. So all the parts is part of the training model. So every week we have our training plans ready, and every phase of the game we touch in the week. So can be possession, can be progression in the final third, can be the crossing, can be the finishing. So it's a matter of repeating and keep doing that. But of course, the situation where we're in and scoring goals and winning games is confidence, it's belief. It's a massive thing in football, in sports. And of course, the confidence levels, you can understand how fragile they are. And the lads, after so many defeats and not be able to score in 7 games in a row, of course it does something mentally. And yeah, keep that spirits up, and we need some positive in a game to change that. And that's what we're working for. And other than that, we have to be humble. We have to reflect on the fact that we're in the situation in the league after 30 games where we are, and it's not a coincidence, it's 30 games. So it's not luck or bad luck, it's the level where we are. We have to accept it, we have to face it. But every day, try to do better and show character. We have the best profession in the world. So many people want to change and want to be a football player in the Premier League. Also when you're in the bottom 3 and when you're 12 points behind in the relegation fight. Also when you're going through difficult times. So it's a privilege. And that's the way I look at it, and it's my belief.
In terms of the chance creation, and a lot is said about XG, and some people like it, some people don't. I think your average over the last 5 games is 0.45%, not 0.45 XG, sorry. Where do you think that can be traced back to? Is that a confidence thing, or can that be traced to deep in the pitch like you just talked about?
Yeah, you have to look at, of course, it's a figure and it says something, of course. I think, for example, yesterday's moment with Facundo and Jordan, I think if the final pass is good, you create an XG of 0.9 maybe, or 1, with a one-on-one with the goalkeeper on 8 or 9 yards from goal. So that is the level of detail in the Premier League. The cross, the final pass, the shot, a couple of shots against United, where what we had in the opponent's box, yeah, you have to do better there to create your own XG, you know, and that's quality. That's quality. The best teams score 3 goals from 0.9 XG or from 1 XG, because the top players, they outperform the XG. That is what it is. And that's what my point is. On 30 games in the league is where we are. So we have to face it, we have to accept it. But the process of wanting to do better and keep going and never lose that ambition, that always stays.
I wonder, from your perspective, what you think has changed in this team, from the opening part of the season to the run you find yourself on, goal scoring wise, because I think it was they scored in 14 out of the first 15 Premier League games, included your first 2 games as well. What do you think has changed?
I think that the run of form, the lack of results, and the confidence levels there, that is a big part of it. Also the consistency we spoke about. You can perform 1 or 2 games well, or moments during a game, but a full season in the Premier League to keep those levels up, that is also a big sign of quality. So I think that's also something that I would address.
How would you analyse the challenge you have ahead of you in the final 8 games of the season in terms of the relegation battle?
Yeah, we have to live in reality, and 12 points in 8 games, and a goal difference that is a lot worse. So that's another point. It's huge. So for me, mathematically, it's not over. We have the obligation to keep going, but also when it's mathematically over, we still have the obligation to keep going. And then we're not going to stop. So we always have that obligation. We feel that we want to defend the club and the badge and our own personal pride to show that we're capable of getting results in this league and do better than we're doing. And with a change of momentum, that's what we need and we're looking for.
Can you sympathise with fans who may feel that this task is insurmountable now, and what would you say to them?
My previous answer.
On Newcastle, they're in a good mood, as you've already mentioned, and in good form as well. How do you hold that on Monday night?
It's clear. The game plan we will make again, like every week, on their strengths, their weaknesses, what we're going to do in all the phases of the game, prepare that, train it, and execute it. But it's clear that the amount of pace that they have and the counter-attacking possibilities that they show, we have to be really good in stopping that, especially when we have it and lose possession. We have to be very positioned very well, because they find the runners and the deep runs and have excellent counter-attacks. Also the crossing and from wider areas into the box and players arriving there is something we have to look very carefully to.